What's going on, everybody? It's the Jury94, and we're back for the first week of Quicksave Gaming Stream of the Week. As you can tell, or some of the guys who might be here live, we are doing this video live, but we'll also be uploading it to YouTube and creating the TikToks out of it, just as I always have been. But I figured it's good to get this this stuff out live so people can just participate in the stream and participate in the conversation and ask the questions that you might want to know about your favorite streamer directly. So one big thing before we do get this started, I am going to change the structure of Quicksave Gaming Stream of the Week. It's no longer going to be Stream of the Week. We're going to be changing the whole program call to Behind the Stream, because I find that the program is more focused on the streamer themselves, and I found just through lots of burnout and overworking that doing it week on week and having all that promotion stuff like that at this stage is just a lot of work for myself. So we'll be turning back Stream of the Week and replacing it with Behind the Stream. It's going to be the same program, held at the same week same time every week. It's going to have the same promotional material on TikTok and YouTube, but it's all going to be shot live. So this week we've got a fantastic streamer. The reason why I really like the streamer is he's got a community much like my own. Very likes to help other streamers grow and give them tips and tricks. And I found this guy on TikTok, and like I first saw his interviews, and I thought, this guy, he knows what he's doing. He's got the right idea, and he just loves helping people. And that's one thing I really like. So I was really excited to interview with this guy, and I was so glad that he was willing to work with me. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you guys to, let's get my stream deck working. Moorphgames.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I am doing excellent. I appreciate you having me on.
That's no worries, man. It's great to have you here. And yeah, it's like I said, it's exciting to meet someone who's like doing the same kind of thing that I am in the promotion, in the streaming world. So
yeah, sorry, great for me.
Yeah,
I said it's really great for me too.
Have you been interviewed by people yet?
So it's funny. It's funny as you're doing the intro there. I've been on another podcast a couple times, but I realized this is literally the first time I've been interviewed solo.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
I wish I hadn't thought of that, because now like there's a little bit of nerves kicking in. So I'll try to keep it together here.
You don't have somebody else to to lean on when they come with it.
No,
you got nothing
I'm usually on your side. Where I'm just like, answer this question. I'll sit.
You just sit back and just relax.
Right.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, Morph.
Sure. So I'm Morph. I started actually on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And I realized that pretty quickly that I wanted to get into developing my audience, and that was going to be best done on something like Twitch, because the live streaming audience really wasn't there on YouTube yet. Still isn't. Yeah. So I moved over to Twitch, and over the course of the last year plus, I've sort of been like fine tuning or honing like what I do, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much what I'm doing. It's like I have the YouTube thing going, I got Twitch going, and like anybody else, every single other social media platform, and we're just trying to grow. Yeah. My big thing is always trying to, like Jerry was saying, is helping people. I feel like I'm at a point in my life where that makes a lot of sense for me, and anything I can do to help other people grow as I'm growing. Don't like, mistake the fact that I'm like polished or anything. Like, I'm still learning and growing every day, every week, and so I like to take everything that I learn and pass it on to other people. Yeah.
Well, that's the important thing I find is like I learn best when I'm teaching other people. So if I'm showing people how to do it, I'm also learning at the same time. You're like, oh, wow, that's new. And everyone's like, wow, that's so good. And you're like, I just learned that myself.
Yeah, that's funny. Cause like, like OBS, like, I know you're using OBS. I switched from Streamlabs about 2.5 weeks ago, and I'm already doing my first tutorial for OBS, because I'm learning it, and I'm learning some tips and tricks, and figure, well, I just learned this. There's got to be someone else that doesn't know how to do this, so let me teach them how to do this.
Yeah, that's really good. It's good that you think that, like, at the moment you try and doing something and you're learning it, you're like, I'm going to teach somebody else this straight away. Like, and it's just like it's a good that's just such a natural thought, because it means that you're genuine about like trying to help people, and I really like that. So apart from like all your helpful videos, I've seen like some of your stuff on YouTube, and like you've got a lot there, and you've even got quite a good following there, which is pretty good. But like, what kind of games do you play on your stream?
Sure. So I do a lot of just chatting streams, but when I do actually stream games, I'm definitely a variety streamer. I tend to stick to games that I enjoy, like even though some of them are older, like Borderlands 3. I still like Outriders. I'm the guy that still likes Outriders. I play Remnant. I play a lot of Fallout. I'm trying to think what else. Like I'm just getting into Ghost of Tsushima because I just finally got a PlayStation for the first time ever.
And so I'm getting into that. Trying so hard to get a PlayStation 5. I cannot find one anywhere.
I couldn't either. So after looking, I finally found a good deal on a 4. So I'm like, screw it. I'm gonna get a 4. You know.
I mean, you can still play Ghosts. You can still play most of the games on the 4 anyway.
Yeah, you still can. You still can. So one last thing that I play a lot is Fallout, guys, because I rage like you probably haven't seen in a game like that, and people seem to love it, even though I swear to God, it's gonna give me a heart attack or my blood pressure. But yeah, those are the kind of games I play.
Yeah, cool. I saw you watch you streaming Fall Guys once.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was a good time. So, what would be your favorite game of all time?
My favorite game of all time is Skyrim.
Skyrim? Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
sunk a lot of
hours in that probably.
Yeah, it is a classic. Do you still go back to it now?
I do every now and then. But when I first originally played it, it was on the Xbox 360. And then I bought it on PC once I got rid of that, and I was like, I don't want to redo my progress, so I got all the mods so I could like kind of build my character the way it was. But then it wasn't actually fun.
Yeah,
it was too easy, you know, in a sense. So yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like if you try modding or cheating the game, it does ruin the fun. Like there's so many people that want to do that just to make it easy for them. Like for a good example would be like Dark Souls. Somebody wants to like people want that to be easier. But then that takes away the whole fun of the game because there's no challenge there anymore. Like
that's why actually so I do a mixture of PC and console, obviously.
Yep.
And I like playing games on console. I mean, partly because I'm more familiar with using a controller, but also because there's no temptation to cheat on a console because you have access to like commands like you do on a PC, you know. So.
Unless you're playing GTA.
Unless you're playing GTA.
Yeah. Up, down, left, right. Oh, that's funny. So what if you could play a game for the rest of your life, what would that game be?
One game for the rest of my life? Oh, that's a good question. I don't want to say Skyrim because I've played it so much. Then probably something like Fallout 76, as much as that might be a weird choice because there's so much to do in it and it's such a big game.
Yep.
And I do really enjoy that one. I can probably play that one.
Yeah, because it's got like that it's the MMO one, isn't it? I haven't actually ever played it before.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more to do in that one.
There is a lot more to do. And I realized one of the games that I was addicted to that really got me into gaming a little bit ago was World of Warcraft. I am a recovering addict from that game. And if I was still playing it, actually I tried picking it up a few weeks ago and that didn't work out well, but yeah, that's another game that I could probably just play and play.
Yeah. And it's funny you say, so you say Fallout 76 has a lot more to do in it, but like Fallout like has a lot to do in it. So like the level of content there must be just incredible.
Yeah, so there is, because there's no real level caps, and it's, you know, you can just run dungeons over and over again, and there's tons of side quests and whatnot. Like my character, I think is like level 150 or something, which is kind of low now because I haven't played in a few months. But there's still plenty of side quests that I haven't done. Yep. So it could last me quite a while.
gives you plenty of time to work with it.
Yep.
Okay, so what was the very first game you ever played?
The very first game I ever played was Super Mario Brothers.
On the Super Nintendo?
I'd like to say yes.
Okay.
I will date myself, and it was on the original Nintendo.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So moving on.
Yep. Okay, fair enough. So when did like your love for gaming really start?
My love for gaming really started probably about 15 years ago when I actually picked up World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
I was a super casual gamer. Like, I didn't own a lot of systems when I was growing up. And I didn't really play a lot of games. Like, I would just go over to a friend's house and play or whatever. But once somebody introduced me to World of Warcraft, and I'm still cursing their name to this day, that's when I was like, oh, I like this. And so I moved from that to Skyrim to Fallout 4 to Elder Scrolls Online to Fallout 76, and that's when it was.
Nice. Okay. So what's the happiest memory of you gaming?
The happiest memory of me gaming, it's when I was playing Super Mario Brothers, and back then there wasn't, if you were stuck, there wasn't Google, there was nothing, well, because I'm older. So I remember I discovered a way to get like unlimited lives.
Oh,
and
okay.
I was just jumping up and down and running through the house, and like that's what allowed me to beat it for the first time. But I remember it so vividly. So that's definitely the biggest moment.
Yeah, I do appreciate that though. Like, I kind of was growing up in the time just before computers. Like, I was playing games. We didn't really have a computer at home. I just had the console. And some of the games I'd play were just hard. And there was no way to ever know how to do it except for just trial and error. And you just keep doing it over and over and over and over again. Like, one of the games I used to spend so much time was Final Fantasy. At Final Fantasy 9 was the game I played a lot of. And it took me like 2 years to finish it the first time because I had no idea what to do. And it took me to actually, eventually we had a computer and I printed out a full walkthrough to actually get my way through it. And I was like 12 at the time. It's just like those types of games, unless you like sink so much time into it, you've got to, it takes you so long to learn. But I think that's the great thing about like that is like working your way through it. That's why we might have such good memories about these old games, because it did take us so long to get through them, and it was such a big achievement to actually learn.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because now if you get stuck, you have there's a billion people playing it. There's always online tutorials, microtransactions to make the game a little easier sometimes. Yeah, like older games, it was more satisfying. It's like, if you think about like so you said you were doing that stuff a little bit before you had a computer. When somebody would ask you a question back then, you either knew it or you didn't. You know what I mean? Now it's like, I don't know, give me 7 seconds and I'll find it out on my phone.
That's right. Yeah.
And then when you finally did get the answer, it felt like an accomplishment.
Yeah, and like you'd have to get your friend to come and help you. I remember like the first time I ever got shown a cheat on GTA, I was like, what is this? But like, it's funny though, how does the first person ever discover that? Like you'd be like running along and then all of a sudden the jet appears. You're like, what did I just do?
Right.
But like even games like Zelda, like me and my friend, when I was like 4 years old on the Nintendo 64, we were just shit scared of like the forest dungeon, and we never finished the game. I didn't finish it until I was like 13, because we got stuck and didn't know what to do, and there was no one to help us. Like, our parents didn't know anything about video games, so it was just like a game that just got stuck and it didn't progress for like 10 years.
Wow.
Oh, probably not, but like,
yeah, I know.
Over exaggeration.
That's funny.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a bit out from the side, but do you have a favorite Pokemon?
No, I never really got into Pokemon, to be honest with you. So no, not really.
Not really? Okay. And who would your favorite streamer be?
My favorite streamer, so this is the funny thing. So I don't watch a lot of streamers. And this might be odd too for someone that does streaming. I don't enjoy most big streamers.
Yep.
Because you can't connect with them, because there's thousands and thousands of people in their chat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But Somebody that the only person that's coming in like to mind right now that I do try to watch whenever I get a chance is the streamer named Nutty.
Nutty. Okay, cool.
Yep. He's out of New Zealand, I think. Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to check him out. I'll just note that down here. N-U-T-T-Y?
N-U-T-T-Y, yep.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I know what you mean there. I don't watch too many streamers myself. Actually, I think you said this yesterday in your interview. I don't really have much time to watch many streamers. And when I do, it's usually I'm at work and I've just got them like a window open and just tabbed and I'm just lurking in the stream. I can't hear them or anything like that. That's all I can do to really support them. Very rarely will I have the time to actually sit down and watch somebody. And as you said, like if you've got, I can't watch big streamers. Like, and I think most people are the same. Most people prefer little streamers because it's more engaging. Like, if there's thousands of people in chat, you say one thing hi and it goes, you're going
right.
Yeah. Right. Like there's just so many people talking. So, and they don't even have the ability to read every single chat as it's coming back.
Right.
So, like, yep.
No, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So it's just, I completely understand what you mean. I prefer watching small streamers, and sometimes you'll discover someone and they're just an absolute gem. And that's why I love doing this. It's because I find those people and I'm like, oh, I want to know about you and and stuff like that.
Right.
And I'm sure everyone's the same kind of thing.
Yep. And I think that's an interesting thought too, because as we're streamers, you know, we get into this because you don't get into this because you want to stay at 5 average viewers forever, right? You want to grow, you want to get bigger. You see these big names and maybe you want to get up that high or whatever. But as you're getting into it and you're building your communities, one thing that you realize is you like talking to people, right? If you're going to grow, you like talking to people, you like that connection. However, that runs exactly in the face of what's going to happen as you grow. Yeah. You know, because right now, you know, if you're averaging 5, 10, 15, 20, even like 30, 40 people, you probably do remember half the people that come in. You can have conversations with them and you're just chatting stream. But once you get above like 50 average, you know, then it's a little bit difficult to connect with people, and there's no way you're going to remember everyone's coming in and out of your stream. Yeah. And so all of a sudden you start losing that connection, that thing that you really liked when you were growing. So I'm not there yet, but it'll be interesting to see what it's like. If you watch a lot of big streamers, they just say, hey, chat, versus me, I'm like, hey, Joe, you know, hey, Sarah, you know what I mean?
You're
like
saying,
you recognize individual people. So I don't know how I'm gonna like it if you get to a point where you have that many people coming your chat. When yeah, okay, we'll be positive. When.
Well, yeah, I think so. At the moment, I get like sometimes when the chat goes crazy, I can't keep up with it, and sometimes I just don't even. It's hard. You can't go back through it and read it all because otherwise it just goes stagnant real quick. Right. But I think when it does get that big, I still think you'll still have maybe 30 to 40 people chatting and you might still recognize them. From what I've noticed from a lot of other big streamers that I've seen, a few friends that are in the getting up to the 70s and 100s, they'll only have 10 or 20 people actually chatting anyway. Really? And I think the most of people are either lurking or there's even people that just don't mind watching. Like I find that in my streams, because I do keep my viewer count off most of the time when I'm being good and I'm trying not to be in my own head. But like I'll be streaming and then I'll have like 5 people in chat. And I'm like, so I've probably got about 5 or 6 viewers. But then I'll get my stream summary. I've got 17. I'm like, okay. Right. Because like so many people just either lurking or they're just watching you. And I find that people don't mind just having you on the backgrounds. Like I've even had people tell me they just have me on their living room TV. And I'm like, okay. Because when they're on the TV, you can't really chat unless you got your phone out. Right. So I think that would happen a lot as well. So you might still get those occasional people. And then you might find that like when you first start streaming, and this is all just speculative, but like when you first start streaming, you'll get like those 10 or 20 people who like really are straight on there and in there straight away. But you'll have the time to spend with those people personally, and then it blows up, and then you might not be able to keep track of it. But that's kind of what I see in other people's streams, and I think might be how it happens. But I could be very wrong. I mean, we're not there yet, so you don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's interesting because when you first start streaming, there's nobody coming or there's nobody chatting, and then you get to chatters, and then like you said, I learned very early on that watching my view count was messing me up. You know, I would see it go from like 5 to 4, and I'm like, oh no, what did I
What
just
have I
say
done?
to offend that person?
Oh no. Yeah.
It's just always about you versus like reality. They probably had to go get dinner. You know what I mean? They can't, just because you're there doesn't mean they can say the whole time.
That's right, yeah.
But then as you start growing and getting more people coming to your stream, you start getting more lurkers. And now, like you said, like you see 5 or 6 people chatting, you assume something else, but you have a much bigger audience. And then, you know, I would start wondering, why is nobody chatting? Why is there like, you know, there's 15 people, but there's like 2 people chatting, and it feels weird. And then I started to get into this awkward place where people would come in, hey, you're viewbotting, because like you'd have 20 people watching, but like 3 or 4 people chatting. I'm like, no, I can't control what people do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, viewbotting's a new term to me. Like I heard you say it, or heard somebody say it yesterday. I was like, what is that? Is that so? I'm guessing viewbotting is like you create a bot account and you just make them view yourself.
So, yes, that is one way to do it. But usually when people talk about viewbotting, it's you. And this is against Twitch terms of service. There are services out there that allow you to pay to have automated bots just keep hitting your stream.
Yeah.
You know, and you know that's against terms of service, and that's what people always say whenever there's any kind of discrepancy between the number of viewers and the number of chatters. But Twitch does a really good job of cracking down on that stuff. Yeah. So,
yeah, I don't quite understand. Like, I understand why people would do it and blah blah blah, but like you're only cheating yourself. Like,
yeah.
You're not being genuine to yourself, and you're only lying to yourself. Like, yeah, other people might say, "Oh, they've got a lot of viewers. Oh, that's so cool," but it doesn't mean anything. Like, it's the actual there's not a genuine followage there. So like, when push comes to shove, and like you're trying to build a community, you don't actually have a community there. You might have like 5 people, but your view count's 100. So you're really no better than somebody who's got 5 average viewers. Because your community is not there to back you. Like the thing I love about my community is like, even though I don't have huge view counts, it's just like they're always there. Like they're every single time. They're so supportive. They're when I'm live, they jump on, and that's just my favorite thing about it all. So I wouldn't want to fake it. Like why fake that?
Right. Yeah, I totally agree with you. It doesn't make a lot of sense because it does nothing to just like blow your stats up, but you know, people will know right away that when they come in your stream that you don't really have anything to offer. You know what I mean? But you know, and I completely agree with you about the community. So like I say that I probably have 20-25 people that are regulars coming to the stream, not every stream, but like that they're there more than they're not. And it's awesome. You know, quite often they're there early, which is my favorite thing in the world.
when they jump in and start chatting when you're on your pre-stream screen, like your screen started, and you're like, whoa!
There really is no feeling like that for me anyway. So like one trick I do to sort of encourage that is I always start my stream 5-10 minutes early on the starting screen. So because I figure like the notification goes out there, oh yeah, that's right, he's streaming, and then they go and they hopefully they can come watch. But yeah, for me there's nothing like that.
So I know you touched on this at the very start. So why did you start streaming?
So I started streaming because I had a friend that kept saying, let's stream. And I'm like, So because you know we just played games like all the time, and we felt like we had a really good banter back and forth when we're playing games, like anybody does. And he's like, we should do this on stream. And I was like, what? Why? I'm like, fine. So we get on, and I'm like, this is great. And I was like, oh, I like this, you know? So, and so that's how it started. And it's kind of taken off from there. He's still streaming too. We don't do much collabs anymore, but yeah.
The moment you get that first chatter and you start having that full-on conversation with the chatter, you're like, oh, I understand this now. This is really cool.
Although it's the first time I got a sub, I was like, that's cool. I'm like, why'd you do that? You know what I mean?
What? Like, what? So it's like someone's willing to like support you.
Me, like missing every shot I'm taking. Why would? Okay.
Yeah. Sure. Well, that's an important thing. That's an important thing to remember as anyone starting out is that, like being a pro gamer, it can have its advantages. Like I've got a friend, my best friend from high school. He streams as well. He streams a lot of Battlefield. Well, he's been streaming for a lot longer than me, and recently he just blew up because he's been streaming a lot of Battlefield. But I think specifically he's been just piloting and just doing really well. So that's helping him grow significantly. But
Yeah.
like apart from the gameplay, especially if you are a casual gamer or if you're just here to have a bit of fun and be entertaining, everyone's more there for you than the gameplay.
Yeah.
And I find that like I've been streaming League of Legends lately, and most of my viewership don't really like League of Legends, but they don't mind watching me play League of Legends.
Right. By the way, nice stream the other day.
Oh, right?
That
How
was
insane.
crazy.
So
that was crazy.
That blew my mind. I don't know if you saw the clip from it. So LCO, who raided me, they're like the League of Legends Championship organization.
Oh, really?
So they stream the championship matches and like commentate on it. So it's not just one person; it's like a panel of people.
Yeah.
And that was the very first time I actually streamed League of Legends. Like,
oh, really?
I played it in the back, like played it off streams. I was always like, oh, I don't know if I play it or not.
Yeah.
But then I just decided to stream it, and then we're having a really good time. It was actually like everyone was like subbing, and it was like a huge like event. And I think that might have been what put me up on their top of their list. I don't know. But then like I was just like cooling off from that and like getting back into the game, and then bring. I was like, oh hey LC, and then I looked at the viewer count. And I was like, holy! I was just mind blown.
Yeah. I've never got a raid that size, but like I can only imagine what it's like. But I mean, unless I'm paying attention to like the chat where it says the number, I might not even realize how big the raid is.
Well, I had a look at the little like on the notification on my actual screen, and I just read the name, and then I read is raiding with 890, and I was like, oh, and then I started like panicking and like I need to perform, but like I'm shit at the game, so
yeah,
it was just not great.
You know but that's the thing, right? Like if you get rated that big, it's the same as like when we turn our viewer counts off. We should. I'm saying this now because it didn't happen to me, but we should be able to like just continue doing what we were doing and acting how we act. But like, you know, it's not that easy. It's not that easy.
With that level of people, though, I just couldn't like. And then it took like I was like freaking out about it. And then one of the guys is like, "So do you realize who or what rather LCO is?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "Oh, it's like the league championship people. It's not just one person. It's like a business, like a company of people. They're sponsored by Menulog. Like, it's insane."
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was really good. So, what made you like choose to do like your just chatting streams?
That was actually it was a work in progress. Not is anymore. I'm pretty much sold on what I'm doing.
Yeah, you're nailing it.
Thank you. I went back and forth. So I started off when I first got into it. I am very good at Borderlands 3.
Yep.
And there are Borderlands 3 streamers out there. That's all they do. And I got into it. I'm like, I want to be the other guy that is very good and streams all the Borderlands 3 stuff.
Yeah.
But then I realized like I really wanted to do something more than just game, because I'm like, well, what's the end goal for me? Like, where does this go if I'm just streaming this one game? You know? So I started to branch out, and then as I started to learn more about how to use gear and how to do editing and how to create content, and I just research all the time, I realized that, oh, I want to teach people, like I was saying before, I want to teach people about the stuff that I'm learning because I get it. Like I got it like that.
Yeah.
And so I started to do that, and it just kind of went from there. And then I went back and forth between how I got into it, which was gaming, and the stream advice stuff. And I was like, all gaming and then all stream advice and then 50-50. And eventually I'm like, I enjoy more doing the educational stuff than I do the actual gaming stuff.
Yeah. So
I eventually started to make a shift, and now it's probably 75% education and 25% gaming. And honestly, my goal is by the end of 2022 to pretty much only do just chatting streams and just game offline.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's like so the one thing I said at the start is like I like how you're building your community up like that. And it's kind of similar to what we're doing with Quicksave Gaming, although we still have a lot of emphasis on the games because I still enjoy gaming. But I find that my goal with the streaming is like I'm putting the community first. I'm helping people grow their streams. I'm helping people within the community and just helping build the Quicksave Gaming community rather than just building myself. Because I feel like
Mhm.
if I do that, I will just grow like in consequence of Quicksave Gaming growing. And I'm finding that's happening a lot. And I'm just meeting so many good people. And because I don't like the server I'm running isn't like my personal server, it's a server for everyone. I'm finding it's growing a lot quicker than some other servers I've been in, mainly because it's one server for everyone to work within, rather than I feel like if I'm in on somebody else's server, I can't be myself. I'm just there in support of the other person, which is fine, but like everybody has a server. Like every streamer I know has their own server, which is like, okay, yeah, I'll join your server, and then I'm reaching the cap of my servers. I'm getting notifications up the wazoo. So it's like it's mental. Whereas I think it's more beneficial for everyone to be in a community server because everyone's growing off each other and feeding off each other, and we're helping each other out within the server, and everyone feels a bit more comfortable because they're not there because of somebody else. They're there because they want to be there and they want to grow. So I've got like as you have met a few of them already, a group of streamers who are a part of the Quicksave Gaming, and then everybody else is like on it. Anybody who works within it, they all will grow a part of the community as well, and their own personal streams will grow as consequence. And that's kind of what I'm aiming for. And the biggest thing is just helping the community out.
Yeah. Yep. No, I feel the same way. So when I first started, just like every other streamer, I made, hey, join Moorphgames server.
Yeah.
You know, and then I realized why would anybody really go there? You know, because I'm as a newer streamer. So just in the last few weeks, I rebranded my server, the Creators Hub, which I want to be a community server. It's not there yet. Like right now, it's still like it still feels like people assume, oh, it's just his server.
Yeah.
Even I keep saying, no, it's all of our servers. Guys, post everything you want, self promote all you want, do whatever you want. Like, you know, because partially because I don't have the time or energy to answer every single question. Like I want people to be involved. That is actually one area that I am actually struggling a lot in is growing it to have that community feel where people are active all the time. But it's a work in progress.
It's one piece of advice I'd have there is like eventually find other people to be a part of the community. So I was quite lucky. So over the last 6 months of building Quicksave Gaming, I was doing it all on my own. And I was burning out. I was like making all these videos, editing, blah, 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 and burning out. So what I'd done at the start of this year, I decided, okay, I've got a few people who are really interested in it, like, and they are always around. So I'm going to approach them and ask them if they want to be a part of the team. So these guys are all a part of Quicksave Gaming, and wherever it goes, we'll sort that out if and when that happens. But everyone now feels a lot more a part of it. And the community is now growing on its own. So Withers and Jiff, they bring more people into the community than I do, because they're always just promoting it and talking about it and getting people in to play games. Because I don't have the time to do it as often, or I forget to invite people out, just mainly because I'm thinking, oh, maybe they won't. But they're really good at it. So it's starting to become its own thing. So like inviting other people and finding other streamers and to help out who may not have their own community or maybe struggling, to help out with the community, and that will be the best way to grow it out.
Right. Yeah, that's a good idea. You know, I invite people, but you know, I've never actually asked anyone, hey, do you want to be part of the server, part of the community server, and run it? That's
a big mind shift to like from streaming and gaming and stuff, like a more business thought, because you're then scaling your business as sense. So you're not overloading yourself trying to do too much at once, because some people are happy to give you the time as long as you're giving them something back. And the good thing about a streaming community like Quicksave Gaming and like the Creators Hub is that if they're willing to bring people into it, and you've got 3 or 4 people doing the exact same thing, all their viewers are coming in, and then their viewers are being shared with everybody, so everybody grows. So that's where you've got the benefit of it. But having other things to offer in there, so like we've got an advice chat, so if anyone's like needs advice and stuff, we post it in there, or I just post in stream tips whenever I think of something. I'll post it in there just to give people a reason to come back to the channel. And then community games nights, so like when we want to do something community, I make sure it's happening in the Discord. That way it gives everybody a place to go to play the games. So it gives takes full advantage of the full server function.
Absolutely. Yeah, when I had a previous iteration of the server, I would create all the categories, and I would break down stream advice into all these different like subcategories, and like I would go write blog posts or post like every week in every category, and it's just like, oh my god, because I want, like you said, when people join, I want there to be something for them to look at and plenty of them to look at. But then I was like, I can't do all of that and stream and make YouTube videos and be on social media all the time and like all my other IRL stuff. It's a lot.
There's a lot to do. And once people start getting in, they start feeling comfortable and they start acting on that. They'll do the stuff themselves. And my favorite thing to see in my community is just to see it going on its own, like just seeing it develop and doing its own thing. That's just like the best things. I can sit back and just be like, this is cool. I just love seeing everyone helping each other, and it's such a good feeling to know that like I've helped build this. So I think, doing it that way, I think is like certainly the best way to grow the community.
Yep.
So what would be your favorite moment so far in any of your streams?
My favorite moment in my streams? I don't know. So this wasn't in, all right. So, when I had been doing this about 6 or 7 months, I had been in contact with a rep from Streamlabs, and he pings me one day and he says, "Hey, I got an opportunity for you." I'm like, "Okay." And it was running a charity for them, or taking part in a charity event they were doing. This is from last July.
Yep.
And I was like, "Yeah, cool, sure, I'll do it." And, I was just happy that they reached out to me to give them help. But as we're getting closer to charity, goes, "Yeah, we arranged something with Twitch where you're going to be on the front page." And I was like, "Oh," like the nerves were already setting in. We were like a month out. So yeah, that was and when we did it, I goes on the front page, and with 500-600 people or so were in the stream.
Wow.
And it was so awesome. It was exactly like what you were seeing, like you experienced the other day.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, it was just awesome. I don't know, it was just cool. And I was like, how do I get this feeling all of the time?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was hands down my favorite moment.
That's awesome. And did you end up fundraising a decent amount?
Not as much as I would have liked.
Yep.
We got around $1,000. But I had loftier goals, especially considering how many people were watching the stream.
Yeah.
But but it was still good. It was still, anything we can raise for charity is good.
Yeah. It all helps in every way. Yep. So do you have like a piece of streaming equipment that's your favorite streaming equipment?
I'm looking here.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite thing is my camera.
Okay.
It's literally the most expensive camera I've ever owned.
Yep.
Is it more expensive than? Only my PC might be more expensive than it. But it changed. I feel like it changed the quality of my stream tenfold when I got it.
Yeah, right.
And like the Stream Deck is cool and other stuff, but like the camera is that's probably the one thing that people comment on the most.
Yeah.
And that's actually like advice for other people too, is like when you're looking to upgrade something, think, especially if you have limited funds, get something that's going to make your stream better. Not that, like, don't just get a keyboard. Nobody sees your keyboard.
Yeah.
It's cool to get a better one, but nobody sees it, you know? So get something that's going to make your stream actually better.
Yeah. I think the two important ones are audio, video.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. Audio is the number one. Like that was the first piece of advice I got from someone, is like, because you get good audio, because most people, as we said earlier today, are lurking in your stream. So because they're lurking in your stream, they're just listening to you. So if you've got crappy audio, they're not going to want to listen to you as much.
Right.
And you get people like, hey, call me Clay, who you rated the other day.
Yep.
And he has got the best audio I've ever heard. Like I found him, I think I was lurking in someone's stream. They rated someone. And I just like went into it and I was like, heard like 5 seconds of his voice and I was like, oh my God, this guy's great. Like, I didn't even see much of his content, but I knew from like the sound of his voice and just how chill he was and like the audio quality, I was like, wow, this guy's cool. So he's become one of my favorite streamers just because of that. from that first 5 seconds of hearing his voice coming through the microphone.
Yep.
Is just like that's what changed it. Like made me like his stream. So that's how important it is. And then video is like the next important thing, because nobody wants to see you like pixelating on the screen.
Right. Exactly. And you're right. I think people will focus on like the visual first, but like physiologically, like your brain processes sound before the audio. I mean, for the video. So sound is just super important. And I always tell people that do your audio and then video. And when you're doing a video, it's not just video, lighting.
Yeah, lighting is extremely important.
Be on point too.
So I have a decent camera. It's the Logitech C22, which is a decent webcam. But I had crap lighting, and Jess, my partner, she was always like, "Oh, you need to get lights," because I was just using this ceiling light, and without my ring light, the camera it just looks crap. And then I got the ring light, turned it on, looked on the camera, was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
Like, I just didn't think about how much of a difference it would actually make. And I was like,
"Yep."
So yeah, lighting is one thing that people forget about, but it is like the single most important thing with video.
Yep.
Like you can have the most expensive. I think you did a post about this or said something about this recently. You're gonna have the most expensive camera ever, but if you've got crap lighting, then it's the worst camera.
Yeah. So I think that's one of like the timers that goes off in
that's right
on the stream every now and like was a good camera with bad quality is a bad visual or something to that effect.
Yeah. You know? So it's extremely important, and like, and back on audios, if say you're in just chatting, or if like someone catches your stream and you're not in the middle of gameplay, like your video and audio are the two things that people see. Like so like regardless of gameplay, you might not be playing game, especially if you're someone that's chatting or like likes to chat a lot and doesn't play the game as much. Then that's also extremely important, because like that's your key feature is like you. Right. So you want to make sure you are presented as best as possible.
Right. You know, one thing too that to give people a more incentive to focus on their audio is I have people, regulars, who come and they're at work, so they can only listen to my stream. Yeah. Right. So it's important to first of all like have that good audio quality, but to always be talking to people, always be talking to chat, because like if you're newer, like that is one of the biggest pieces of advice that I could give you, because you don't know when someone's going to show up in your stream.
Well, you don't. Someone might not even chat, and they're just lurking the entire time.
Right. Exactly. And if you're not doing something to engage people, then what incentive do they have to come back? There are like millions of streamers on Twitch. When it's just like anybody says, you have to make a good first impression. So anyone who pops in your stream for the first time, they're probably gonna lurk, so you don't even know they're there. You have to give them a reason to want to chat, to want to come back, and you have to find a way to be engaging. And if you're amazing at whatever game you're playing, that might help. But really, what's gonna make them come back to your stream is you. Like you said earlier, Jerry, you are the reason they're gonna come back to your stream. There's a lot of great Call of Duty players. Why should they pick you over anyone else? Yeah, because they like you. They like your personality, and they're not going to know that if they can't hear you. Yeah,
because like you'll have the two best Call of Duty players side by side. You can watch either one for the exact same gameplay. It's the exact same game, exact same gameplay. They're both really, really good. And so what else? What else is there? It's the person, and that's and it's all about point of difference. And I always find, and like having gimmicks in your stream and all that kind of stuff, they only give you a slight edge, but once that gimmick wears out, then it's not really worth anything. It's like I used to work in sales in retail, and like everything that had a gimmick in it, that like Samsung's TV with a motion control, it's like it was like people would buy it and people would pay extra for it, but then they would never use the feature, because it's not about the feature, it's about the TV, really. So that's this thing. It's all about you as the streamer and how engaging you are. And people nowadays have such short attention spans.
I know.
If you aren't engaging, I think there is a statistic, like within the first 7 seconds of your stream, they're just going to find somebody else. And that's extremely important. And I think that's the biggest learning curve for most new streamers is like learning how to just keep talking about what you're doing. Because sometimes you might be not comfortable, or like it's just not feeling right, and then you just you mute. And that's extremely bad.
Right. And that's actually one reason why I don't focus more on, well, not only reason, but one reason why I don't focus more on gameplay is it's Difficult for me. I'm not somebody that can play a game and narrate exactly what I'm doing or what's going through my head and how I'm approaching a situation. Like anyone else, I played a lot of solo games. I'm used to just sitting there and playing my game.
Yeah.
Like actually narrating it and talking through it's still kind of foreign to me. So when I do play games, I tend to go for co-op games. So at least I'm having a dialogue with somebody else.
That's right. Yeah. That's the best times.
I just struggle when it's just me playing a solo game and trying to keep everyone interested.
Yeah, that's a good piece of advice for anyone who is starting out streaming. Rather than playing single player games a lot when you first start out, and you still might be a bit nervous or uncomfortable, play with other people so you've got someone to talk to and bounce ideas off, especially when you're in those first few weeks of like 0 viewers and 1 to 2 viewers. Because like it can be very disheartening to have that many people and nobody to talk to, and you're just playing a game and you're just talking to yourself the whole time. If you've got somebody else to play with and talk with, you can be having as much fun as possible with them. You get high energy, you're bouncing ideas off them, and then people will feel that energy and start wanting to include themselves in chat. So it will make you more comfortable with being in front of the camera and talking all the time as well. So I think that's a really important piece of advice, is having somebody there, because that's what helped me a lot. I used to play a lot of solo games when I first started, and it wasn't until I started playing games with other people that I really started getting a lot more comfortable with just being on camera.
Yeah, 'cause a lot of us get into the I can't speak for everybody, but I'm more of an introvert, so I've always appreciated having someone else there. But another thing too is, and I'm discovering this not too long ago. I discovered this. Think about the biggest streamers you're like watching. How often do they have someone else on their stream with them? That is really one of the biggest ways that these streamers grow, is because they're collaborating and they're combining their communities. Because now it's not just them. There's multiple people. There's a lot more going on. It's more exciting to watch on the stream. You're hearing banter go back and forth instead of just one person talking at you for 3 hours. So like back last June, one of my mods, Colette, I said, hey, why don't you literally come into Discord and we'll talk, So now there's usually at least the 2 of us talking, so it's more interesting. You know what I mean? There's this banter going back and forth, and now she can troll me verbally on stream, so which is great. But no, and people like that. So.
Yeah, they do, and everyone starts ganging up on you, and it's great fun.
Yeah. So just have a thick skin and good audio, and you're all set.
Yeah. So what's the greatest thing you've learnt from streaming, either about yourself or just in general?
One of the greatest things that I've learned is streaming is, even if you don't become the biggest success in the world, I guarantee you will learn some life skills from streaming. For me, for instance, like I've learned how to use all this gear. I did not know as much about audio and video as I do now a year plus ago. But also it's made me a better presenter and a better speaker in general. I never liked talking in public. I really didn't, which just makes this an odd choice for things to do. But I
don't like talking in public, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Right. I know, right? But I am so much more comfortable at doing it now. Even at my job, they're like, hey, like you seem to be doing a better job doing presentations. Why? I'm like, I just am. Don't worry about it. Because, yeah. But yeah, definitely I would say public speaking and the life skills that you're going to get from this, and the relationships too. So there's a lot of side benefits to streaming, even if you don't make it.
Yeah, well, like even what I'm doing now, like all the graphics and everything we do in Quicksave Gaming, I do most of them. So like I'm just developing all these skills, and like social media managing and stuff like that. These are legitimate like life skills and like things that people are employed to do. So by doing this stuff, eventually you might have someone approach you and say, hey, do you want to do it for me? Like full time,
right?
And then you might go from like being a full-time streamer, or like maybe dreaming to be a full-time streamer, and going, I actually really like the social media side of it. I'm going to step into that, and that's an opportunity you may never have even had like pop up in your life, because you were trying to be a streamer, you're now a social media marketer, and you didn't even go to university to do that. So like because you've just got that industry experience. So like there's so many skills here that just by doing it, and I think that's like a lot of TikTokers nowadays, they're all becoming influencers and stuff on TikTok, and all they did was just make a few funny videos.
Right.
Like, so like, these are legitimate life skills that you're learning that other people might not have. And I think Ellie in your stream said it yesterday. Like, she's now been hired as someone, like, as a social media marketer. And it's just like basic skills for her. But for a lot of people out there, especially in the older generations, they don't know how all this works, and they don't have the time to learn it. So they employ other people to do it.
Absolutely. In fact, like, like I said, I've gone back and forth on gaming versus streaming. It was one point where I was like, I loved doing the setup and the graphics so much that, like, maybe I could, if I don't enjoy like being on in front of the camera, I could like be, quote unquote, like a producer for somebody who's for somebody who's streaming, because I love the behind the scenes aspect of it a lot too. Well,
well, there's always like opportunities like that, because as far as like from what I know, a lot of streamers, like big streamers, they do have producers, they have project managers, they have people in the background that are helping them run things. It's not just a one man band. There's a lot going on. And then and this is what I'm trying to build with Quicksave Gaming, is like, you've got studios of people. So like, I look at some of my favorite studios, like Rooster Teeth, and like Smosh and stuff like that. They all started off just like 2 or 3 people, and now they've got a full-on studio where they are employing people to do all the stuff. So from all the stuff that we're doing in our streams here is all skills that those people are looking for in those communities. So it's more than just streaming that you can get a career out of Twitch. You can go into social media. You can go into graphics design if that's what you want. There's so many things that you can think a lot more open-mindedly about it. And I think not putting all your eggs into one basket is important. Like, so like what we're doing here with the interviews and stuff like that, it's not just about playing games. We're also helping people. We're also chatting. We're also, like, I got a Dungeons and Dragons stream tomorrow. Like, we've got so many different projects going on which help like develop your skills in so many different areas.
And that reminded me of you asked like why I'm doing the kind of stuff that I do, and it's partially because like streaming is it's attractive to people because it's so easy to get into. It's hard to make it a successful career, but it's easy to get into. And a lot of people that do it are generally on the younger side without a lot of life or business experience. So they don't actually even think of, oh, I could turn this into something down the road. So like, because I do have a lot of experience working in companies and different businesses, I knew that there were skills and experiences that I have that I could share with people to give them the insight of, you're not just playing a game, you're creating a career, like you're saying. So, my goal is to be able to kind of impart this knowledge that I have to other people, so that they can realize that there is an end game that they can get to if they just go about it smartly.
100%. So what do you do to keep your like mental health in check? It's like with streaming, like, do you get burnout, or like what do you do to help balance your life?
I do get burnout, definitely. I am forgiving of myself, like when I need to take a day off. And I no longer feel bad or guilty or anything when I have to cancel a stream because I just mentally can't do it. And just it's all about just forgiving and recognizing when I'm hitting my limits, whether that means like, it's 5 o'clock, I haven't posted any TikToks, and be like, it's okay, I can miss a day. Life will go on. So that's really what it is. It's just like learning to recognize when I am not feeling right. And just being comfortable taking a step back.
Cool. And what's like some advice you'd give to a new streamer who's starting out, what's the best piece of advice you'd have for a new streamer?
Best piece of advice of a new streamer is, this isn't a race. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So take your time, learn things, and figure out like why you want to stream, what your goals are, and then like how you're going to get to those goals. If you can do that, then you'll set yourself up a nice path to get to where you want to get to. And along the way, take those breaks and just be kind to yourself.
I think setting goals is an important thing. A lot of people forget to do it. And especially if you are trying to make something really big out of it, it's good to have like your 6-month goal, 12-month goal, 5-year goal, 10-year goal. Because like a lot of people, they don't realize what they can get done in 5 years, but they overestimate how much they can get done in 1 year. So set realistic goals for yourself within that 1 year, but then think, what am I going to achieve at 5 years? Because once you start setting that goals, even though it might not be a realistic, like overly realistic goal, or it might not be like, you might think, oh, it's never going to happen. If you at least set that goal and keep it in the back of your mind, you'll always make steps towards that goal. That's how I always do stuff. So like, I want to turn Quicksave Gaming into a studio. So I've always got that in the back of my mind. So like, when an opportunity comes up that you might think, oh, this could actually go into that direction, I act on that opportunity. Whereas if I didn't have that goal, I might just let it slide, or might not even think about it because it's not a goal anymore. So like, it just changes your old mental shift about the direction that you're heading.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're getting to the end of this. So what would be like? What's a question that you would like to hear from, say, the next guest I have on behind the stream?
Question from the next guest. Oh god, that is a good question. You stumped me there. A question I would ask the next guest. So based on what your goals are, how do you plan on, like, what's your process for getting to hitting your goals?
Okay, yeah. Based on your goals, what process?
Yeah. Like, how do they know when they're on the right path and going to hit their goals? Something to that effect.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. I'll put that in there. Sweet. All right. Well, I think that's just about wraps it up. We're just hit an hour of streaming. So Morph, it's been amazing to have you here, and thank you for being the very first guest on Behind the Stream. I really appreciate it. It's been a really good chat. Thank you everyone who's been watching. It's been good to have you here. Thank you everyone who's been watching, who's watched this on YouTube. Yeah, like and subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Give us a follow on Twitch. Yeah, it's been a good time. Tomorrow night at 7 p.m. we are doing our very first Dungeons and Dragons stream as well. So I hope to see you guys there for that. All right, everybody, thank you again. It's been great. Let's raid out to TJ, Morph. Like I said, it's great to have you here. I look forward to our interview on your channel in a month's time or so.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, so it's going to be good.